From Mountain Home to Raft River, we've got all the District 4 analysis you'll need to know. This is the Magic Valley Prepcast with Scott Burton.
Welcome in another edition of the Magic Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, breaking down everything District 4 week in, week out in the state of Idaho. I am Brandon Baney, as always, joined by Scott Burton, who today has decided to be under the alias of Billy Chappell, the legendary pitcher from For Love of the Game.
One of the best movies ever, one of the best sports movies ever. And if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. Little Kevin Costner action. Oh man, what a great movie.
Definitely. And so for newcomers or maybe people that are listening to the audio only version of this podcast on IdahoSports.com or wherever you download your podcasts, we do a video version of this each week as well on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel and Facebook page. So if you want to take the plunge or you want to see Scott's microphone off to the side there, you can see where we're working and what we're doing. Scott's broadcasting from his office today. But we always have our names on the bottom here as well, so people know which one's Brandon and which one's Scott. And Scott, since we got into the spring sports season, has been using different aliases, different nicknames for his name at the bottom there. So Billy Chappell from the Hollywood movie For Love of the Game. Whoever created that is like a genius, because he got a bunch of guys to basically go sit through a chick flick with the I mean, it's genius because women love it because it's a chick flick, and guys love it because there's just enough baseball in there to keep us interested, right?
Yeah, it is. And I never thought of it that way. Now I'm going to have to reassess kind of my my opinion. I am not the rom-com chick flick kind of guy, but I'll sit through them if I have to. But yeah, you're right. There was just enough baseball. And plus, you're talking about perfection. And boy, isn't that a nice little tie into what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, we are going to talk about perfection. We will get to it in just a second, though. First, I want to talk about because golf, the postseason for high school golf is rapidly approaching. Golf is always the first sport that kind of kicks off its postseason. And so state's only a couple weeks away. Districts is going to get up and running here in the next week. And we talked earlier this year about the Kimberley golf team. And we kind of just talked about one individual golfer, Reese Gary, on the girls' side, who's such a tremendous individual golfer. But, Kimberley as a team, I think we discredited their team a little bit. Kimberley went to the Snake River Invite last week. There was over 12 teams, 12 to 15 teams competing there. And Kimberley won the team titles, not only on the girls' side, but the boys' side as well. That was a very impressive showing.
Oh, and it was in dominating fashion. I mean, the boys won by almost 30 strokes and the girls won by 50. And these are two teams that they challenged for a state title last year. And for the boys, they've got 4 of their 5 coming back, and all the girls are coming back. And so this is a program that is going to have a chance to do something that doesn't get done very often, and that is, can both the boys and the girls bring home state banners, first place championship banners? And I tell you what, Kimberly is the team, both boys and girls, to get it done, and they see it. And they've got their sights set on it. Because, the girls, we talked about Reese Gary already. She's averaging like a 78 when she hits the links. That's ridiculous. And then that's also a team that lost by 2 strokes last year, I believe, in, the state tournament. So this is going to be a fun state tournament for Kimberly because they have a chance for both.
We talked about all year long it being the year of the musher, right? Camas County at the 1A level had been having a lot of success across all athletics. We got to start talking about, it's kind of Kimberly's year too, right? They won the boys basketball state championship in the winter. Football kind of got derailed with injuries, but this spring, you talk about the golf teams, boys and girls. You talk about the Kimberly baseball team, which we're going to get to in just a second. And then you talk about those track and field athletes. And we've talked about Kimberly a lot this spring, Scott.
Yeah, we have. Kimberly has got something special going on right now with the athletes they've got coming through. And a lot of that too is really kind of the makeup of the community. It's easy to see when you get out into all these communities and you see the towns. You see kind of what they're about, their makeup, and you get to know their community a little bit. It's easy to see why some of these towns and schools are having a lot of success. Kimberly is just the perfect little town that's got enough blue collar, agriculture, and city kids. I mean, they've got the great combination of everything, and they are having a tremendous, tremendous year. And it's not going to end anytime soon.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Those golfers, I've got the lineup here at that Snake River Invite in Blackfoot. Kimberly boys, 321 overall, like you said, won in dominating fashion. Toby Hyder shot a 75, Jamison Harper a 78, Aiden Murphy an 83, Joe Hopkins an 85, and Chase Mollerup an 86. All 5 guys were below 90, which is kind of, to me, depending on the course, 90 is kind of the benchmark between, the elite and, the guys that were struggling on that particular day. So that's pretty impressive.
Well, the cool thing about that is all those guys you just mentioned, they're underclassmen. There's not a senior in the group. You're talking about Hyder, who's a junior, Harper's a junior, Murphy's a junior, Hopkins is a junior, and Mollerup's a freshman. So if they're able to pull this off, why can't they repeat next year? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty scary and terrifying for other 3A programs. On the girls' side, Reese Gary, they won the team title 349. Reese Gary was your medalist at 80. No surprise there. Allie Stastny, 87. Ellie Stastny, 88. So there's Allie and Ellie. They were right back-to-back, 87, 88. Marissa McCallum, 94, and Danielle Price, 105. That also is, again, very impressive 1 through 5, and that depth is going to serve them well at state.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we talked about, Reese averaging about a 78, the 80 a little bit above what she's doing, but, you can factor in weather this spring for a lot of, high scores. We'll have golf in the fall next year. But, it's a whole other deal. But this Kimberly team, yeah, they are averaging, 3 scores under 90, sometimes 4. And when you can get that in girls golf, and it really almost doesn't matter at what level, you are going to be up there. And if you are in the 3As and you're getting 4 scores under 90, not only are you going to be up there, you're going to dominate. And that's what Kimberly is. They have got golfers from top to bottom on that girls' side. And, we talk about Gary, the senior, Stastny twins, just sophomores, Whitney Ward, a junior, and McCallum is a senior. So they've got some youth in there as well.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun to watch Kimberly as they will compete at state May 16th and 17th. So we're, that's not that far away. District play will be in a couple of weeks as well. And the 3A state tournament this year is going to be at Riverbend Golf Course in Wilder. Have you ever golfed there, Scott?
No, I haven't. And I was kind of looking up Riverbend earlier this morning and checking it out. And I was like, gosh, what would be kind of fun to get up there and just start playing these courses that these tournaments are on. So when you talk about them, what they went through. And, speaking of which, one of the bucket list things, for me, which would never happen, of course, but what would be so cool is if you were to take a PGA event like the Masters or the US Open or something, and then the day after, like the Monday, play the course just like the pros played it on Sunday, and then just see what happens. It give you a little bit perspective on kind of what they have to battle and what they go through. And the same thing here. When you go up to Wilder, go play that, and you know what the kids are going through. Be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a lot of fun for sure. So, of course, that weather's got to cooperate as well. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there. All right, well, continuing our Kimberly theme for this week's show, let's move on to the baseball team. Now, we kind of teased this on last week's Prepcast. This actually happened last Monday, so we're a little over a week ago, but we just didn't have enough time to get it in under the deadline for last week's show. But the Kimberly baseball team, they swept Gooding in the doubleheader last Monday, And on the surface, you go, okay, 2 nice wins. But you dig a little deeper, and you see that, history was made on the mound for Kimberly.
It definitely was, and you don't get that very often. It was a run rule game, so it went, 5 innings, but we had a perfect game. Billy Chappell right here in Kimberly, Idaho. And it was, Jackson, golly, what a great outing he has had this year. Just one of those kids that just works hard, stays after, does extra conditioning. But his stats are incredibly impressive. His ERA is 0.7. 0.7 ERA. He's only allowed 3 earned runs so far this year in 2 of his, and they came in 2 of his 7 appearances. He's got 52 strikeouts in 30 innings. Do the math there. He's striking almost 2 people out per inning, which is insane. He's given up 12 hits, and 5 of those came against Marsh Valley in his last outing. And he's also getting it done at the plate, hitting .475, 4 home runs. He leads the 3A in runs scored. This kid is a baller, and he's having a heck of a year. And then his perfect game. That was a lot of fun. I was talking to, their coach, and whenever you get something like that, you always kind of wonder, at what point in the game do you notice something is going to happen or something special is in the making? And it was about the 4th inning. Jackson went out to pitch, and a couple of the guys on the bench started talking about the no-hitter. And they noticed, and they asked the coach, "Hey, should we say something?" And the coach is like, "No, don't say anything." But by the time the 5th inning rolled around, it was like, "Oh my gosh, this kid's got a perfect game going." And by that time, everybody was talking about it. So he went out to the 5th inning, shut them all down, and he faced 15 batters that game, 12 strikeouts. Dominating from top to bottom. And so congratulations. Perfection in Kimberly.
Yeah, Jackson Cummins, dual threat, pitcher and batter. As you said, there's a younger Cummins. Jacob Cummins is on the roster. And, it's not Billy Chappell, but Brandon Chappell plays for Kimberly.
I know, right? And that, you talk about it. They've got a pretty good pitching staff there as well. Jackson Cummins and Brennan Chappell lead that group of starters. But they get solid contributions from Jake Lloyd and Parker Stringham, along with 7 other guys that can step on the mound and get it done. And they've got 2 catchers that rotate in and out, Race Widmeyer and Jordan Flamling. And according to their coach, those 2 catchers are the best that he's ever worked with. So the battery at Kimberly is impressive, because you can rotate many guys that can throw. And we've been around baseball enough. If you've got pitching, man, you can compete with anybody. But what Kimberly's got with their 18-3 record is not only great pitching, but they can score a ton of runs. They just haven't had to, because their pitching has been so dominant. You want to talk about how great Kimberly has been this year in baseball. They've got 3 losses. 2 of those are to Marsh Valley, and that just happened. And then their only other loss was an opening day loss to Filer. Then they rattled off 18 in a row, before losing to Marsh Valley. So Kimberly ranked number 1 in the latest coaches poll. Marsh Valley ranked number 2. So I have a feeling those 2 have not seen the last of each other.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They went to Aramo to play Marsh Valley last Thursday and lost 3-2. And then Kimberly hosted Marsh Valley on Saturday and lost by the same score, 3-2. And we know Marsh Valley is kind of right now the premier program in 3A baseball, right? One state 3 years ago, then the COVID season happened. And then as the 2-year defending champs last year, they were knocked out in the opening round on a walk-off home run by Weezer, the eventual 3A state champs. So yeah, you're right. I don't think these two have seen the last of each other. And for Kimberly, that 3A baseball tournament's always a crapshoot, but you got to like their chances going in.
Oh, you definitely do. And, that those Marsh Valley games are really the only games that they have struggled to score, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what lessons they take from that. But according, to their coaching staff, it's like we learned a lot by playing those games against Marsh Valley, and that they're great little lessons to have going into a district tournament because, you cruise for so long that sometimes you get this false sense of security that you are impervious to anybody, knocking you off. But Marsh Valley can change that and kind of awaken Kimberly just a little bit. Maybe we got to dial it in just a little bit, tighten some things up going into the district tournament. And that's kind of their mindset right now.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned districts because the Magic Valley, other places, up north and in the Treasure Valley, they kind of wait for districts, but the Magic Valley is like, let's get it rolling. Let's go. Pretty much all the district tournaments in District 4 are getting started this week. So we're again, I'm going to share my computer screen so you can look at all of the district brackets and we'll kind of quickly go over what the matchups are. And again, you can find all of these district baseball and softball brackets on our website, IdahoSports.com, right there on the homepage. So I'm going to share my screen and let's just start with 3A District 4, Kimberly, the 1 seed. No surprise there. And if you're watching the video of this, maybe make the video full screen so you can see the bracket a little more clearly. Kimberly, the 1 seed, they will play number 4 seed Gooding. We're recording this Wednesday morning, May 4th. They will play tonight, the 1 versus 4, and then the 2 versus 3. Filer got the 2 seed, Buell got the 3, but to me, Kimberly, kind of the clear favorite. To me, the more interesting battle will be for second place, because second place will have a chance to challenge second place from District 5, which will probably be Snake River for a play-in game to try and get to state.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. Kimberly is the clear favorite here. Unless something goes horribly wrong, Kimberly should, I would say, kind of cakewalk through this district tournament. I mean, they're just so deep on the hill, and they can smack the ball around the yard. It's theirs to lose. Filer, I think, is the clear second. So, I think what you're going to see out of this district, I think you're going to see Kimberly cruise. Then I think you're going to see Filer work their way around to that playing game. I just don't see Buell and Gooding being able to hang for that long.
Yeah, Filer went 13-8 this regular season, 6-2 in the conference. I'm inclined to agree there. And Snake River's been kind of a hard team to figure out this year. Now Filer did just play Snake River in a 2-game set in Blackfoot on Saturday, and they lost 5-4 and 12-5. So if it is Filer and Snake River, hard to beat the same team 3 times in 1 year. So we'll just have to stay tuned and see. Let's go to 2A. This one's going to be quick. There's only 2 teams. It's Wendell. It's Declo. Wendell is the 1 seed. I believe they won 3 of 4 against Declo this year. The one caveat is this year, the District 4 champ doesn't automatically get to go. You have to win a play-in game against the second place team from District 5, which is kind of a mess right now. Could be Bear Lake, could be Malad. I'm not sure, but I think whoever wins this district has a really good chance of advancing. And right now that looks like Wendell.
Yeah, again, I think it's Wendell's to lose. Wendell has dominated this tiny conference all season long, and there's no reason to believe that they're going to fall apart in the district tournament. So it's going to be them getting out of here and then heading to the play-in game against District 5. And like you said, it is kind of messy over there right now. So I do see Wendell having a pretty good chance to get to that state tournament.
Yeah, Wendell 12-2-1, which is, it's nice for Wendell because Declo's kind of had a stranglehold on this league, at least the past couple of seasons, it's felt like. So.
Yeah, and Marty Hurd's done a great job over at Wendell too, getting those boys ready to go. I mean, I've known him since I've been this big. He's just a baseball guy through and through and passionate about the game, and he's got Wendell playing well.
Definitely. So that starts today, the best of 3 game series. Game 1 tonight, 4:30 in Wendell. All right, Great Basin Conference, 4A baseball. Twin Falls is the 1 seed. They get an opening round bye. Wood River, the 2 seed, they also get a bye in the first round. The play-in game is Thursday. It'll be 6 versus 7. Burley will host Mountain Home. The winner of that game will play the 3 seed Minico. The only matchup that's locked in right now is number 5 Canyon Ridge against number 4 Jerome. And that game will be played at Twin Falls on Saturday. So the way this works is you've got your 4 versus 5, your 3 versus 6. The winners of those then play the 2 teams who had the bye right away. So if you're a 4 seed or a 3 seed, you've got to win 2 games on Saturday to get to the championship.
Yeah, that is exactly right. So the setup of this thing is really kind of unique. So you get, like, for example, Jerome and Canyon Ridge playing at Twin Falls at 11 o'clock. The winner turns around and plays number 1 seed Twin. And the same with Minico and whoever the winner of that Burley Mountain home game is, they're going to be playing that at Wood River. So it's boom, boom, right away. And boy, talk about Wood River coming out of nowhere in this conference. It's been Twin and Minico for really forever. Every once in a while, a team like Jerome or Canyon Ridge last year will throw a wrench into the Twin Minico dominance of this conference. But boy, here comes Wood River, and they have played some really good baseball. Dave Slaughton, their head coach, no stranger to baseball. Matter of fact, he a Twin guy, so he understands how to get them going. They are just a really solid baseball team. It's not like they stand out in one giant area. They don't necessarily have the big ace on the hill, but they're just balanced everywhere. And they play good baseball. They don't make a whole lot of mistakes defensively. They get timely hits. They know how to manufacture runs. They get enough solid pitching to stay relevant. It's going to be really interesting to see. And I'm more interested in that Wood River Minico game, because I don't think Minico is going to lose to Burley or Mountain Home, whoever they play. But that Minico Wood River game, I think that's the interesting matchup here. Jerome Canyon Ridge, they have played a couple of times. Jerome has gotten the better of Canyon Ridge, but Twin Falls has really kind of dominated this conference for the most part. That's why I'm really interested in that Wood River Minico matchup.
I mean, this is fascinating. When you look at Wood River, they split with Twin Falls this year. They beat the Bruins and lost to the Bruins. Mm-hmm. They just beat Minico in a doubleheader last Friday, April 29th, but they were a pair of 1-run wins, Scott, 5-4, 6-5. So
that's why I'm really interested in that matchup. And it's going to be at Wood River. Not that, home field necessarily has an advantage, but they get a hit last. That's the important thing, because baseball is baseball. Crowds are going to be the same. Jerome Canyon Ridge, they are not going to be playing on their field, but they will be playing at Twin Falls' field. But Jerome is going to have the advantage just because they are going to be the home team. That's what Wood River got by having it at their place. That home bottom half of the inning. That's what's big in baseball, not necessarily the field itself, but having that last at bat.
Well, tell me this too, because when you look at this conference, 5 of the 7 teams are all kind of together, and the 2 outliers in terms of travel are Mountain Home and then Wood River. How much of an advantage is it that Minico is going to have to get up early, Saturday morning just to get up to Haley and then have to win twice?
Oh yeah. There is that. And that's a good point, because that game is going to be played at 11 o'clock. So they're going to have to get up early, hit the road. But you know what? It's been one of those seasons to where by the end of it, if you're not used to those kinds of things, then, man, you don't have a chance. It's over before you even step out onto the field. But of course, there's going to be an advantage for Wood River. They get to sleep in a little bit, kind of go through their own routine on their own field. Yeah. But I really think Minico is going to be just fine. And you don't know. Minico may have a little chip on their shoulder coming in after losing to Wood River as well. So especially when those games are as close as they were, it could have gone either way. So Twin, Minico, Wood River, obviously the top 3. Now Jerome just beat Wood River last week, or a couple days ago, rather, Monday. I don't even know what day it is. Monday, in a game that really didn't matter as far as seating and standings and stuff like that. So you kind of have to kind of walk it back on how much each coach put into it. But there was a split with Wood River and Jerome this year as well. So I really think that Wood River, Minico, Jerome are really tight in their abilities, right? You got Twin, who's just a little bit ahead of everybody else.
I agree.
So that second team coming at it here is really going to be interesting because it could be either one of those three teams, I think.
Yeah, and just because, let's say, Minico beats Wood River in the semifinals this game here, they're probably going to meet on the back end here in this third. So there's no guarantee that just whoever wins the semi is going to win this game. So that also is going to be very intriguing to me. And that play-in game between Burley and Mountain Home, also very interesting to me, Scott. They played earlier this year, and Burley won that game kind of handily, right? They beat Mountain Home 12-1. Well, they were supposed to play Monday night, just like Jerome and Wood River did, in a game that ultimately wouldn't have any bearing on the standings. Burley and Mountain Home have been locked into these two slots. Top of the second inning, Mountain Home is winning 5-2. The game gets called due to rain. Doesn't end up counting. So that's going to be very interesting to me as well.
Yeah, that kind of has been the theme all spring long, is crappy weather and trying to figure that out. But, when you work yourself through these district tournaments, there is some strategery involved in how you handle your pitching. If you've got, three solid hurlers that can just stand up there and throw, then there's not a whole lot of managing. You just get up there and you put your guys on the hill and you let it work. But when you don't, you've got to manage pitch counts. You got to be able to, maybe, get some runs so you can get some guys out of there. I mean, there is a lot going on here rather than just throwing dudes out there to let them play baseball, because as a head coach, getting through this tournament, you got to manage things well. And that's why they call it a manager, right? But that is going to be really, really interesting. And then you look at the coaching staff through this conference, you've got veteran coaches here, especially the top three teams are very veteran coaches. Twin Falls and head coach Tim Stadelmeyer, like we talked about, Slot and Wood River, and then Minico. You got these guys that are just been around forever, and they know how to manage, because this isn't their first rodeo going through tournaments. Now, Jerome's got a brand new coach, young kid, Trevor Osler, and he's no stranger to baseball, but this is his first district tournament. So if you want to look at the game within the game, that's where you look at it. How are these guys going to manage their pitching?
Yeah, and sometimes you need guys to just go out there and eat innings too. And if they give up some runs, that's okay. You got to trust your offense. So the strategy in softball is a little different. As we transition now to some of the softball districts, we'll run through these quickly. In softball, if you've got two pitchers, you're set, because a girl that throws game one can turn around and throw game three with relatively little rest in between. So when I look at this bracket here, Twin Falls, the 1 seed and the favorite. They went 10-2 in the conference this year, but there's really a top three. Twin Falls, Wood River, the 2 seed, and Mountain Home, the 3 seed to me. Twin Falls was 10-2 in the league. Wood River and Mountain Home each went 9-3.
Yeah, how about Wood River now, just kind of turning it on for baseball and softball? You don't hear that very often, but this spring, the year of the Wolverine, right? So Twin, Wood River, and Mountain Home is no slouch. Mountain Home is a good ball club. They had high aspirations last year and got upset in the opening round of the district tournament, and then had their backs on the wall the rest of the way. But, you look at this bracket right here, obviously Twin Falls is the team to beat. Now, their dominance, even though they went 10-2, is not as great, I think, as it has been in the past. I think the gap is a little bit tighter in this particular year between Twin Falls and, say, Wood River, even Mountain Home, and you can throw the wrench with Jerome in there as well. I think those top four can beat each other anytime. I think it's Twins to lose. But I think that, like I said, I think the gap is a little bit closer than most years.
It all gets started with the play-in game tomorrow night. Number 6 Canyon Ridge will host number 7 Minico. Twin Falls split with Wood River this year. They split with Mountain Home, and Mountain Home and Wood River split with each other. And so where did that third loss come from? Well, they each had an outlier. Wood River lost to Jerome, and Mountain Home lost to Burley. So
see what I mean? It's the gap is a little tighter. Those top 4 teams especially can all beat each other if the circumstances align correctly.
Yep. Might just come down to whose number 2 pitcher performs best, because everybody's got an ace. Everybody's got a stud, and it's all about that second pitcher, especially for the teams like Jerome and Mountain Home that are going to have to play 2 games on Saturday. It's a big advantage in softball, especially for Twin Falls and Wood River having those byes in the opening round.
Absolutely, because, I mean, you're going to get their ace, and all the ace has to do is win 1 game, and you're playing in the district title game.
Yeah.
So.
Let me ask you, because you're a baseball guy and you've coached baseball in the past. Quick strategy question. Okay, so if you are a Jerome, a Burley, a Mountain Home, and you know that you have to win twice to get to that championship, do you throw your best pitcher in that first round game to guarantee you get to the semi, or do you gamble and try and save your ace to match up with the ace from the other team that's waiting?
Well, you know what? I think if you look too far ahead, you're going to miss the boat. I think you see a lot of teams that plan too far ahead and then they don't ever get there. So if it's me, I start my ace, and I hope, if the stars align, I get a ton of run support, and then I can maybe back off of my ace a little bit, save some innings and some pitches, because it's all pitch count now, and go from there. But I think you got to start, and you got to win that first game, because if you don't win that first game, now you're struggling and you're battling the rest of the way.
Yep, I agree. You got to win to fight in the moment, and you worry about the next game at the next game. Yep.
Exactly right.
I agree. All right, 2A real quick, just like baseball, two team affair. Declo, Wendell. Reverse this time though. Declo comes in as the favorite. They host the best of 3 game series. Starts next Monday. So this is the one district tournament that actually doesn't get started until next week. But Declo is the favorite there, and same deal. District champ has to win a play-in game against second place from District 5, which again kind of looks like could be West Side, could be Bear Lake. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But Declo went 4-0 against Wendell this year. Heavy favorites.
Yeah, I don't see Declo stumbling at all here. I think Declo cruises through this, might even get the sweep, and then moves on to, like you said, could be West Side. Who knows? But Declo's not a bad team. I see them having a really good shot getting to that state tournament.
Yep. And now a conference that we have spent a lot of time dissecting this year, Scott. District 4 for Class 3A. This is totally up in the air. Throw a dart at the board. I have no idea. Gooding is the 1 seed. Filer the 2, Buell the 3, and Kimberly, which is the team everybody says on paper is the best, they're the 4 seed. This starts today as well. Gooding will play Kimberly tonight at 5. Filer will play Buell, and I have no idea how this is going to go.
Yeah, this one is probably the most interesting district tournament of all of them, whether it's baseball, softball, because top to bottom, any one of these teams can win. Like you mentioned, Kimberly was the preseason favorite to win, run the table, dominate, and here they are, the number 4 seed. So and they still can beat any one of these teams. So this tournament is going to be wild because there is no clear-cut favorite, and there is nobody that doesn't have a chance here. So this one is going to be fun.
And again, we've done some in previous episodes. We did a deep dive into the Gooding softball team. We did a deep dive into the Filer softball team, and Buell and Kimberly are also very talented. So stay tuned. Winner obviously gets to go to state. Second place team has a chance to fight their way in via a play-in game against the third place team from District 3. Right now, Homedale, Weiser, and Payette all look pretty solid from District 3. So if you want to get to state, you better just win that district title.
Yeah, it is, because it's not going to get very easy for you in that play-in game, because you are going to run into some schools that can flat out play softball. And that conference and those teams that you just mentioned are all really, really good. So whoever is in that play-in game is going to have their hands full.
Definitely. All right. Well, we'll check back in next week and probably be able to talk about some district championship matchups and maybe even some bids already being clinched at state. As man, there's nothing better than postseason baseball and softball. I just love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, Scott Burton, as always, Billy Chappell, whatever you're going by this week. Hey, thanks as always for doing the research and doing the deep dives into these teams. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, no problem. I didn't have a chance to put on a jersey today, but I'll make sure I have one next week. I think if we're going to talk a little bit of baseball, I've got the perfect one. I'll be ready to go.
Okay, there's another little tease for you. You're going to have to tune in next week to see what Scott's going to show up in. So
that's right.
All right, thanks for tuning into the Magic Valley Prepcast. For Scott Burton, I'm Brandon Baney. We'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.